call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me. The songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are adventuring off into the spaces between. We are being broadcast live on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. Hey, I got it all memorized now. And if you're listening in on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you click on that little dandy little bell, then you will get the alerts also when we are live. So, no matter how you're hearing me, make sure you do stop in and say hello. And I just want to thank you for joining me here on my spiritual journey. And I hope that you will want to continue learning with me. Now, if you do want to support the show, I promise, the website will be live. Well, it is kind of live, but I'll get it posted and a link in the show notes tonight or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Call line is open tonight, just so you know. It's 213-233-3998. Or if you're in the UK, please call 44203-393-2871. And tonight, as promised, we have a guest. Ollie is here, and Ollie is going to be talking about energy work and some of the things that those of us who do energy work, whether we're novices or we've been doing this for a while, wish we knew at the very beginning before we started, and how to set some boundaries and kind of instead of energy work 101, it's like remedial. So we learn things and we're doing good beforehand. And holy cow, chat room is live and busy. We've got all sorts of folks in there. You guys must have bailed on Don and Brent. Ha ha! Because Paranormal Portal. So Renee, hi. Cameron, hi. Deb, hello. Noli420, hi. Renee, you are silly with all that stuff. Let's see. Weird Desk US, hello. Hi, Black Tree. And Bell Prepper. Am I missing anybody? I may have doubled up. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. And then off in TFR land, we've got Divine Newcomer and Lucky. Hi, Lucky. And Renee, you are just busy in two places. And there's me. So yeah, hi all. And Ollie, thank you for joining tonight. And how you doing? Can you hear me?
Pretty good. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
uh, Thanks for having me.
What's that?
I said thanks for having me. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm a little usually a little nervous when I first start talking.
Hey, no worries. Um, it's all good. And if you have to run and hide or anything like that, I totally understand. It's all good. You're fine. You're fine. Take a deep, cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You'll be good. And, it's not any different really than just talking to me as I am. I mean, you talked to me earlier. We were good. It was good. It was good. We talk off and on. So, I guess to start off with, just the very beginning, when we talk about energy work and not like raising the cone of power like we talked about last night, which was pretty cool, it's more what do you consider if someone says, hey, so what's energy work? What would you say?
Um, there's a lot of definitions that could go to that, but for me, it's I guess how I would put it. Um, Being able to one manifest, project, and then manipulate your energy into a certain sphere of what you want it to do.
Okay.
But the answer of the question, what is energy, it's kind of a little more broad than that because different people, different opinions. So
Exactly. Kind of like asking someone, so what is the color blue? Well, there's so many shades to the color blue. I
exactly.
mean, it's Not just blue, it's light blue and dark blue and green blue and orange blue and pink blue and all those other blues, yeah. And then there's periwinkle. So,
Oh yeah, I understand it. I've got people that say my car is blue. I'm going, they need their eyes checked. It's purple.
right? Exactly.
So
S-
I get the
So,
blue thing completely.
ooh, Dawn is now in chat on YouTube. So yeah, we got a busy chat room. I talked about you a little bit last night, so we have extra folks in here tonight, and I mentioned you on Amino too. So everybody's excited to talk about energy work because we don't talk about it enough, but at the same time we do, and it's frustrating because if we go online to search, it's like, okay, Harry Potter, get off your broomstick. This is not going to work. So
Very much so. Then, and I don't know. It seems to disappoint a lot of people when you tell them that no, no fireballs. No, not at all. Not even a little. I
right?
mean, maybe a little. Maybe practice hard enough. Maybe if you really, really will that, but no, that's not what goes on. No fireballs.
No fireballs. All right. So once when I know you teach classes periodically where you're at in up north,
Mm.
and what is one of the first things that you wish people knew coming into the class before they even walked in the door?
Basics, like maybe it's just a general knowledge of energy work, even if you've never done it before. You know, have at least some kind of definition of it in your mind. That would be like the absolute basic thing that I wish more people knew.
Okay.
Is is you can spend anywhere from 2 minutes to 2 hours just trying to explain that one concept.
I totally understand. Yeah, because it's not easy. Because it goes back to the same. What's the color of blue? you know,
Mm.
no, 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 no. We're not talking about baby blue. We're talking about sky blue today. So yeah, um, and it,
Exactly.
and so what's one of the first lessons I suppose that you seem, or I guess, what's the lesson you have to teach the most, and seem to have to repeat often because people don't get it?
Let's see. Boundaries is,
Boundaries.
is one.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries, keeping you and your energy separate from others.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's one thing that I wish I'd known about when I first started, was because I didn't know about boundaries. And I actually had a friend that was also an energy worker teach me about them. And it made life instantly so much easier.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was instantly so much easier.
And
But yeah, no, that one I mean, I'll sing that one to the cows come home. That knowing where you end and your client or whoever you're working with begin, your energy working partner begins, very important. You don't
mhm.
want to get, I mean, you're already going to be working with each other's energy. You don't want to meld up too much.
No, exactly, because you don't want to step on their toes, figuratively or literally at all. So I guess
Exactly.
so when it comes to boundaries and energy work, how do you set your own boundaries or your boards or wards, excuse me, or
Um, as far as boundaries go for my energy, if I'm just doing specifically, just raw energy work, um, I just use my shields, my energy shields. They were one of the first things that when I learned about boundaries, they were the first thing that I learned how to do. And when I teach, it's pretty much one of the first things I teach is shielding.
okay. So
So
how do we shield? Because I just assume I know nothing. and we haven't talked about energy work.
Um, well, um, I mean, you can do it pretty much any kind of way you want. You can do it with visualization of light. You can do it with a bubble. You can do it if you can actually project your energy far enough, outside yourself. You can cover yourself in a film, and with using energy as your shield, there's a lot of visualization that comes into it because you can give your energy whatever kind of properties you want. I mean, even if those properties don't exist physically, it's actually kind of a bit of a sandbox. It's kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, and you can as many shields as you can muster. I'm assuming that you've got the skill at keeping your shields up because mine are up 24/7. I let them down when I need to,
Hmm.
but you can have as many shields as you want, and they don't interfere with each other. It's just the you know you have to do maintenance once in a while just to make sure that because you're going to get bombarded with stuff on a daily basis, so you want to check and make sure that there's not really any dents in it. But
Hmm.
mainly what I do is I use energy. You can use talisman, religious symbol, whatever. But mainly I just use my own energy
Hmm.
to.
Yeah, I think that's important that we know how. I mean, when I first started doing any kind of energy work, I generally visualized a stone wall, brick tower. I read a lot of fiction and fantasy stuff, so to me, a castle tower is a pretty cool thing. So that was my visualization. But nowadays, it's not the same. It's not because bricks can be torn down. Um,
Mhm.
so it's been just a little. I don't know. It's a work in progress, and it's something I'm always fine tuning because you need different shields when you're in different areas.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep, that is definitely the truth on that one. Um,
yeah. So,
and
for instance, we
so
had
did so
first
fun.
day of kindergarten this on Tuesday for Minnie Paisley, and I walked her in. We put her stuff away, and then we went to the cafeteria to get breakfast. And the pandemonium. I needed earplugs and a quiet room afterwards. I mean, and that's a totally different energy than if you walk into the workplace or a grocery store or any other. So it's a different level of energy. It's a different
It's
thing going
different
on.
fields.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, when it comes to boundaries and stuff, that kind of leads to the next thought: ethics. So often ethics are not really discussed when it comes to paganism and witches. There seems to be an underlying understanding of what we should do and what not to do. And
Mhm.
but the only one who holds us accountable is those either our peers or our teachers or guides and that kind of thing. That's about it. But those that don't
Yeah.
really have a set of ethics or don't know anybody with ethics, how would you go about explaining the need for ethics and what those would be when it comes to energy work?
So going about explaining it, um, I take it from a psychic's tack
Mm-hmm.
of you don't want somebody poking around in your private business.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not give somebody permission to go through your phone, you don't want them in there. Obviously, there's a reason why passwords exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
um, it's the same thing with energy work. If you're going to work on somebody, you don't go any further than they've said they're comfortable with you going. That means you don't go prying into information that's not relevant to what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's it shows it's a complete breach of trust on one thing, especially if you bring it up to them when that's clearly not what they asked for. But it shows a lack of responsibility. Because if you either can't or won't, it's really disrespectful both to yourself and damaging to your reputation. It's disrespectful to yourself, it's disrespectful to the person you're working with, and it's damaging to your reputation because they're not likely to want to talk to you after that, especially if you're, you know, if they're concerned you're going to air their dirty laundry.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as having ethics, there's a lot of different ways it can go. One of the things that I find to be the most important, even more so than, you know, don't poke around where you don't have any business being, is make sure that you understand the complete gravity of what it means to be manipulating someone else's energy. Understand that you are actually manipulating a part of this person, and you can either do damage or you can help them and heal them. It can go either way. So recognize that you actually are not playing with a toy.
Yeah, Harry Potter, get off the broom. It's not a toy. It's someone's
You'd
life
actually be surprised
force.
how many people think it is. You would actually be surprised how many people I've run into that look at it as, oh, well, it'll heal itself. No, it won't. This is why you practice. This is why you stay in practice. I mean, one of the what big ethic is for me is to stay in practice. If I've got someone that wants some energy work done, I set a date in the future just so I can make sure that I've got my side of things together, make sure I'm not out of balance, and make sure that I've brushed up to make sure I've brushed up enough and I'm familiar enough and confident enough on what it is they want me to do. And it's okay to not know how to do something.
You know,
It's more
personally,
important
I would rather have
that you don't know.
someone say they don't know how to do something than pretend to. Because
Yep, that is exactly. Go on.
pretending to know how to do something and then trying and not being successful because you're only pretending to know, that's bad. That's dangerous. You don't pretend to know how to drive an 18-wheeler truck. And
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
it's the same thing.
Um,
It doesn't just heal itself. Not like that.
exactly. It's one of those things of if you are, I mean, it's just like making a mistake. If you know how to fix the mistake, then, go ahead and backtrack those steps and fix the mistake. But working with somebody's energy isn't like, making a paper mache statue.
Yeah.
You can't just pick off the piece that that you messed up on and work on it, refit and fix it. No, it does take some, repair.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Depending on what you did, it can go deep. I mean, your energetic body is connected to all the rest of you. So anything that happens there is going to resonate throughout the rest of your body. So you definitely want to make sure that that's clean. The person that you're working with knows what they're doing and that they actually have a sense of ethics.
Yes. Yes. So, just want to remind callers if they have a question to call, if they want to call in. That number is 213-233-3998. I tend to say it just super fast because I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Nobody can hear me. Or nobody can understand me, I should say. So, but yeah, I talk fast. I know this. So,
Or is ethics go like
what's that?
I said, as far as ethics and energy work goes, I could talk all day on it.
Okay.
But I won't. I promise not to.
No, that's fine. I think it's important that people understand that there is an ethics involved when it comes to energy work. I mean, it's just like you go into a public place and there's two people snogging in front of you. Okay, that's fine. You guys are having a good time, but nobody wants to see you snog. That's not something you do in a public place. So you got to, there's a time and a place for everything. So, ethics is huge and is important. And I don't think as pagans and witches, we really talk about it much. I mean, we do talk about the the different creeds, like the Wiccan creed, do no harm, the threefold law that some people follow, or whatever. Um, I personally feel that what you put out there, you get back. Um, but even with that, crap still happens, unfortunately. So, but there's a lot of open interpretation when it comes to being a pagan or a witch, when it comes to ethics and what not to do, or what to avoid. So, um, I guess, what's one thing you wish people knew? I see that I keep saying, what's one thing? There's a lot of things. What do you wish people knew about energy work in general, when after they've learned things or a couple things, do they seem to just go out and assume they're the experts, or do they try to come back and learn more, or what's the general theme, do you think? Is it, because I feel that we're always learning. I mean, we're practicing. It's not set in stone. We don't always know everything. So is it?
Yeah. Oh no, keep studying, keep practicing, keep experimenting and getting better, because there's always going to be someone that's better. There is always going to be somebody that, even if it's like one thing you don't know, there's always going to be somebody that knows more. And
Yes.
I mean, you don't need to compete. There's no reason to compete with other people, because, people will come to you. If you build it, they'll come.
Exactly. Exactly.
But no reason to compete. It's better to try and learn something from someone that actually knows more than to try and compete against them. A little friendly rivalry never hurt. It In some cases, it actually helps people get better at something when you actually have somebody to do a little friendly competing with, but you also got a partner, you know. As far as doing energy work, as aside from that, is that not all energy workers observe ethics, even if they know
Okay. Unfortunately, yes.
them.
I mean, they're people just like the rest of us. They screw up
Yeah.
too, but hopefully,
Well,
I I don't know. I guess I feel that if you're going out there and you're saying, yes, I can do energy work, I'm going to help you, cleanse your aura, or I'm going to help you do this thing, or, if you're out um, doing something where you say, yes, I can do this skill. I totally lost my thought. I set my rock down. Um, I don't have a I don't have a fidget like most people. I have a big chunk of quartz that's about nine ounces, and I just roll it in my hand. Um, yeah, it's totally gone. I don't know what I
well,
was saying.
I guess kind of what I'm getting at
Hmm.
is, even even just like you said, everybody's human. People mess up, but it's important to really be able to tell the difference between somebody that has intent to harm you and somebody that is doing it unintentionally.
Okay, so how do you
Like,
know? How do you know if someone's intending to harm you?
well, when you've gotten familiar enough with your own energy and um, doing senses training, which is basically the clearer senses, they actually come in handy with energy work, because you are able to suss things out a lot easier, and it actually helps you get more efficient with your energy work as well. Um, you can you know how you get that feeling where you just can't shake it, but you don't like something about someone or something about someplace.
Yes.
It comes to you, and it's not always obvious, but it's definitely whenever you meet someone that you know is another energy worker. You it, it's not. I've never thought of it as impolite to kind of feel each other out, because you are both in vulnerable spots around each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you have no idea where they are in their level. They have no idea where they are in your level. So if you kind of just both introduced each other, you don't introduce yourselves as energy workers, it's time for the energy worker handshake. Oh, what kind of energy worker are you?
Energy worker handshake.
You are,
That is
well,
just too funny.
it's true.
No, I
It's
agree
true.
100%. I mean, you got to stop and talk and get to know someone. So we are already at the bottom of the hour. Can you believe it? It's been half an hour already.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, it seems to be when we get online and we're going, it just goes really really fast. So bottom of the hour, we're gonna go to break, and we will be right back in just a few. And we're talking to Ollie about energy work, and I will see you all in just a bit. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea. I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are adventuring into the spaces between with Ollie, talking about some energy work. It's a good time. We're learning some things. The number to call in if you want is 213-233-3998, or if you're across the pond, it's 44203-393-2871. Now, if you do want to share your thoughts or opinions with me, by all means, after the show, send me an email. It's wildpaisley@gmail.com, and that's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. So, hello, Ollie, my dear. I got to thinking, we just
Hello.
jumped right into things. We didn't really talk about you at all. So, what's your path? Maybe we should start at the beginning. I should have done that first, huh?
Uh,
What's that?
Yeah, I didn't say anything. Mainly energy worker and solitary witch. I don't really have a path. It's pantheistic, but I've also got my specific deities that I work with. Well,
Okay.
either because they drag me kicking and screaming, or I found them.
Yep. That seems to be the way of it.
We all kind of sit at the dinner table.
And,
Yeah, we all sit at the dinner table pretty civilly.
Yep. So, what got you started on energy work?
Um, Actually, it was about 9 or 10. So
Yeah.
I think it was actually meditation originally,
Okay.
because I'd learned meditation and kind of looked up to see. I had a bit of clairsenses when I was still, but I kind of got exposed to them when I was younger, and I was curious about it, so I kind of researched it, found meditation, and tried that out. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool, and just kind of jumped into the next thing, which kind of led me down to energy work. So here we are.
Here you are. All right. And how long have you been working with energy and doing that type of thing and teaching it and such?
Um, oh gosh, you're giving me a math problem.
I know, right? Pop quiz.
Oh,
And I do this.
horrible.
Yeah, I know, right? You can
Let's
round
see.
to the nearest 10. It's okay. Making it more math.
About 20 years.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
20 years, closer to 15 with the added bonus of knowing how to do boundaries and such.
Oh, so you've been doing it for 20 years, but
Which
15 years doing it the right way with the boundaries.
Doing it the better way.
The better way. Okay, fair enough.
'Cause I don't really believe that there is a right way. As long as you can be ethical about it,
Mhm.
you can learn it any kind of way you. I mean, you can learn Eastern, Western, fusion style, up, down.
What's
there's a
the
multitude of
difference
ways to learn
between
it.
the Eastern and Western, do you think?
The Eastern one is kind of interesting. It actually has. I'm still in the baby stages of researching it, but it's actually pretty cool because the meridian. I mean, everything is like the same, just the ways things are executed are different, and so you get a bit of a different effect on how your energy feels due to the difference in manifestation. Mainly because if I've read it right, and if I've read it right, it kind of goes through sort of different channels. I mean, they could be the same channels, just in a different flow, but it's different than what I've seen
Okay.
in Western style working energy work.
I would have
I mean,
to.
mine blends. I'm kind of going for researching more Eastern lately.
Well, and that's, that really speaks to what you said at the, earlier, is that we never stop learning.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't
there's always
matter where you are in your path. There's always something new to learn, or some new aspect to bring to mind, or to gain energy on, or gain education on. So I had a question from one of the folks in the chat. Do you have a YouTube or material that they could read, or Twitter or email, or if someone has a question about energy work and they want to ask you, how do they do it?
Just email me. My phone chimes for all of my emails, so I'll see it.
All right, so
And it may take maybe I don't answer right away, mainly because I like to try and think about what I'm going to say.
I do that all the
You
time.
know,
Yeah.
But I like to give a pretty well thought out answer.
All right, that sounds good. So
actually answer the question.
Is that the same email address that I have?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to just post that would be great.
Yeah. So I'm looking it up again, but if you want to just give it out real quick, that'd be great.
Sure. Happy Pasta, HAPIPASTA at Gmail.
At Gmail.
Yep. Happy.
All right, I'll put that in the show notes too, folks. So if you don't catch it on the live chat, yeah, you can catch it later. Because I know you have a lot of information, and I kind of popped this on you like, surprise, hey, guess what? You're going to talk about these things. So, if you have encountered someone who has negatively harmed you, or you've been negatively impacted by someone doing energy work, what do you do to fix it? Or how do you know? So there's two questions. How do you know, and what do you do to fix it?
It depends on what it is. If somebody, and I'll use the term, but I'll explain it as well, just in case there's no definition for it. If you've had hooks attached to you, it's an energy vampire thing. It's generally used for intent to siphon energy from another person.
Okay.
But and I've had that happen to a friend of mine. I've had clients that have had it, I've had hooks in them. Best way to deal with them is to working the energy is to remove the hooks as carefully as possible, because they do leave rips. I mean, they can be rips in your shield, they can be rips in your energy. It does heal, but the biggest thing that you notice is feeling like abnormally drained. And that could be emotionally, it could actually be physically, it could be spiritually. It just depends on how the energy drain goes, and that is something that can be controlled. As far as how to deal with it, everybody's got their own way. But if a person has a teacher and their teacher has taught them this, or if they've figured it out on their own and they've decided that's what they're going to do with it, I just simply return hooks to sender.
Yeah, return to sender. I like it. I think a lot of us do a lot of those return to sender procedures. So you used a term, we hear it often, generally more, even in the mainstream, is the energy vampire. So what is an energy vampire?
Well, it is a person that feeds on psychic energy, but that also can extend to energy. That's in what we work with through energy work, which is um, force, life energy, whatever you want to call it.
Chi?
um, there are ethical vampires and there are unethical vampires. The kind I was just talking about would be an unethical one. They're leeches, the kind that don't ask for permission.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, there are those that do ask for permission and have um, what I've understand to be contracts between somebody that they do siphon energy from on, basically the rules between them and their snack or whatever.
There's snack.
I don't know what to call the other person, but basically rules of engagement of you don't take more than what I'm willing to give. I can stop you when I want. You know, basically rules of the trade or practice.
Okay.
But
So
but unethicals generally follow things like that.
okay. So I had a couple questions came through chat. Can an empath be an energy vampire?
Um, an empath, well, anybody can. It's the difference is more knowing that you're doing it and not knowing that you're doing it because both can occur. Um, especially if you're an empath, it's doubly important for you to know boundaries and be able to keep them because absorbing all negative, a bunch of different energies, emotions included, it's all energy. So if you're absorbing it from other people, you may not be draining them, but you're still absorbing it. And it's one of those things of you either know or you don't. And if you've been made aware of it, you can actually do something about it. But yeah, anybody can be an energy vampire. When I actually started off, I didn't know I was doing it,
Gotcha.
and that was part of the being taught boundaries. Is I couldn't figure out why I was having such wild swings, not just in my emotions, but in the way I was physically and mentally feeling. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't, I avoided places with people like the plague. I did not want to be around people because that was the only thing I had to go off of. Why is this happening? Is that, oh, there's people around.
Okay. So if you
But
are doing this by accident because you don't know that you're doing it, because I think that happens often with folks that are really new to energy work or have a natural talent, once they realize that they have been accidentally or inadvertently pulling energy from others, how do you stop? I mean, because that has been, you just had this open sponge, how do you stop doing it?
that's where the boundaries come into being the biggest help. Is it sounds silly, but the the best defense for stopping psychic vampirism when you're not under once you've actually found out that you're doing it is to put walls up. It's like you just basically put your boundaries and go, this is where nothing comes past this. This is where my stuff ends, other people's begins. And it's generally a pretty good help while you're actually learning how to keep your own energy within and work your energy to where what was I going to say work your energy to where you don't have to worry about siphoning from other people because you've now become aware of it. And the more aware you are of it, the more you can actually control it.
Okay.
I mean, there are the outliers where, I mean, you've either got a surge or a drain going on, and it's not necessarily you draining other people, just with energy work, as with any kind of practice, sometimes there's complications. Energy work, there happens to be things called surges and drains. Drains are just when you feel, you just can't, it's like you can't, it's kind of like energetically, you just can't catch your breath. You're just tired
Okay.
because it's like you can't get your energy level up to regular. And they pass. And surges would be the opposite. It's like, okay, experiencing severe spikes here, and that was expensive. I did not need to blow that out, you know, because when you're, and as mentioned before, there's no Harry Potter stuff, but when your energy does get concentrated enough, especially depending on what you know how to do, sometimes, I'm not going to say all times, but some things can be affected by your energy.
Yes.
Let's see. But on the whole, you can stay pretty level just by doing your regular grounding and meditation exercises. Just sometimes those things happen. The best way I've found to mitigate both of them is to have a storage item, whether it's a ring, a stone, a CD, whatever, something that you don't let other people touch, something that is yours that you can store away. And when you've got a surge going on, you slough off all the extra energy that you can and kind of control the surge that way. That way, when you've got a drain, you've got a store of energy. Kind of works out on both sides.
You got a battery. I gotcha.
Exactly.
Uh,
It's kind of nice to be able to create your own extra energy for when you need it. Rainy day energy.
yeah, I do have a 5-year-old. I wish I could tap into her energy, because yeah, Minnie Paisley is often very, very busy, and hard to keep up with. And gotta love the littles, but oof, they're hard to keep up with. Yeah.
Oh no, I understand. I
Yeah,
understand. I have a 7-year-old niece. She is very extra all the time.
very extra.
All
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
exactly it. She's very
Mhm.
extra. All right, so man, I should have written down a list of things because we talked about several earlier, and I didn't think I'd forget them, which is kind of the stereotype of my age. Apparently, I'm starting to forget things. I guess one question I was wondering, if someone's been been negatively impacted with their energy, either with the energy vampire, or someone has hooked them or whatever, um, can that cause or have an impact on like physical health? Like, can it cause an illness to happen, or is it just weaken your immune
Um,
system?
well, considering that your energetic body is connected to all your other bodies, it may not right away, but if it's something that you don't take care of, it's it's just like any other wound. It's going to fester. And with energy, there are all kinds of things that you're going to encounter. I mean, if you've already got a wound, it just like your physical body, you've already got a wound. You got to make sure you keep it clean. You got to take care of it, or it's going to get infected. But getting things through your energy, it affects you on all levels. But yeah, it does. It takes more time. But yes, you can get sick. Um, Mainly because pretty much everything we put out is energy. Words, thoughts, emotions, intent, it's all energy.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yes.
when you hit somebody with that, especially negatively, you keep hitting them with it constantly, it is going to affect them.
Okay. No, that makes sense. You get run
So it's,
down, you're more likely to get a cold or a flu, just because you're tired and your energies are flagging. I think that's just a true thing. Um, so, um, now that I'm trying to think another question, I really should have made notes when we were talking earlier.
ask away.
I know, right?
Ask.
Uh, um, we when we've chatted in the past, you've talked about things you wish people knew. Is there anything else you wish they knew before they started doing the energy work or even came to one of your classes?
Mm, don't be scared to try it.
Okay.
I mean, yes, there is the huge disclaimer of, you know, there is a ton out there, a ton more than you know. It's a big, big world.
Yes.
It's a big, big energy world. It's a big, big spiritual world. But don't be scared to walk out. Don't be scared to walk in. You know, you can't learn something or get better at it if you don't even start.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't start, if
And
you don't
everybody,
try, how are you going to get better at it? I mean, if you don't do, what
I mean,
nothing's going to change.
everybody starts off as a beginner.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter how you learn, how you learn specifically for your energy work. That's what works best for you. It doesn't, I mean, if you sense auras, I mean, I spoke about that, sensing auras and sensing energy. Not everybody sees colors. I mean, that seems to be the most common thing that people mention, but some people hear noise, some people smell things. um some people just feel it as frequency. So everybody's a novice. Don't be scared to start, and don't be scared to be different. I mean, yeah, from a personal standpoint, I do see auras as colors, but I also hear them as sound.
You
You know,
you see
so
sounds. I like it.
so well, it depends on what's going on with that aura, whether it's a nice sound or not. One of my least favorite is the nails on a chalkboard effect because it's in your head. It's one of those things of, I really wish I could pull it out.
Yes, I don't like that sound
Escape.
personally.
Trying to escape this person. Yep, one of those things of, okay, it's time to escape from this person. It's
Yes,
time to get away from them.
yes. That is a sound I would walk away from fast, quickly, very very quickly. I do not want it. No, 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 no. Alrighty, well, believe it or not, we are actually just about out of time. It's been an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it seems like when we get on a show, it doesn't matter if I'm on this one or if I'm in doing my own show or if I'm doing somebody else's show and or co-hosting or being a guest or anything. The time just goes zing. And it's like wow, it's been an hour already. So what I'm gonna do, my dear, I'm gonna let you go. I'll give you a call back in just a few minutes as I wrap up the show, and we'll chat just a little bit. And I think I want you on again, just so you know. And because I want to talk more about energy work, get into it a little bit more. The how tos maybe next time. I think that'd be good. I think how tos would be good. So
Sure.
we and I think maybe talking about ethics repeatedly is going to be a good thing too. Because one thing I talk about all the time, every show, is I set your intention before you start because
Hmm.
intentions are big. So um,
Oh, yeah. You always want to know what I'm doing before you do it.
yes. Absolutely. So, all right, my dear. Well, I am going to let you go, and I will give you a call in just a bit. And and thank you for joining me tonight, Ollie. And I will put your email address in the show notes. So thank you, and I'll see you soon. So just go ahead and hang out, and I'll talk to you in a bit. So, my
All
friends,
right,
thank
thanks
you.
for
You're very, very welcome. So, my friends, thank you for joining me here on the Spaces Between. This is Paisley Wild, and we're just learning things about energy tonight. It was yay! It was good. It was good. Thank you, Ollie, for joining. And the again, my email is wildpaisley, WILDEPAISLEY at gmail.com. Send me your emails, your thoughts, your questions, and if you want to know more about anything, just let me know. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. We'll learn things together because you know what? I have found that I learn better if I am learning with others. So thank you for joining me tonight, everyone. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. Until next time, have a good evening.
I